Welcome to Wide Awake Stories from Insomniac.
Now, here's a little story I got to tell about three you know so well.
Welcome to the Church of What's Happening Now.
From Insomniac.
This is a journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new value, and a new experience.
Broadcasting from the Insomniac HQ. This is Wide Awake Stories.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Wide Awake Stories. This is the EDC Las Vegas 2017 special episode.
Woohoo!
Woo!
I hope you guys are ready for the big show. We are officially 10 days out. Half the office is already on the Speedway. People like Connor, who you've heard before in a past episode of Wide Awake Stories, Bear, the whole production team, Pickles, they're all out there putting the hard work in and get everything set up so that when we arrive a few days before the show, everything is pretty pulled together.
Doing circle eights in the golf cart. What was that last year? I
think they were lighting off fireworks and with a trailer hitch on a speedboat. It was like Lake Havasu in the middle of the Speedway
in the desert.
Wide Awake Stories from Insomniac.
Once again, we got the full squad here. I am Rich. I got Rob over to my left.
Hey, John, how goes it?
Good morning, everyone. Howdy.
Monica, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How's New York?
New York is fantastic. It never stops.
Never, ever.
I've heard that before.
Although I was dismayed the other day, I really wanted to get a haircut at like 1 a.m, and you actually can't. I used to think that you could, and that's not true.
You can't here in LA. I know one place.
Where?
Downtown.
Can you get a hot dog wrapped in bacon right afterwards?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
There's hot dogs wrapped in bacon like all over the city.
We should sell them at EDC.
Oh, God, yes.
What else have we been working on here at the office?
You've been busy as hell on this EDC Unseen book.
Yeah, EDC Unseen will finally be seen by the masses. So just to let everyone know, this is the first time we've ever done something like this. We've created a book called EDC Unseen. It's a really nice limited edition, large format souvenir book. Tiesto wrote the foreword to it, and it's filled with photos that really just kind of represent these amazing moments in EDC that kind of go unseen by a lot of people. These magical moments, people being proposed to, headliners in the crowd, amazing moments with DJs on stage. The book also has a sheet of Kiss Cut vinyl stickers that you cannot get anywhere else except in this book.
They are super awesome. I saw them.
Along with 4 pull-out posters. We've even got a lineup poster in there, which I don't even think we sell lineup posters in merch. So that's a really nice exclusive as well. Look for it at every single merch booth. It's called EDC Unseen. Really nice book. It's a souvenir book, and we're pretty proud of it.
Would you say that this is Insomniac's first coffee table book?
It is. It's Insomniac's first coffee table book.
We're
Thank
grown
you.
up.
That's correct.
Display it with pride on your IKEA lac table.
You can pick it up and take it home, and then when your grandma or your aunt or your little cousin asks, "What's it like being at EDC?" you can say, "Read this book. See what you're missing, Grandma."
So speaking of picking up things at the merch booth, Insomniac Merch has just rolled out this whole new EDC line.
For this year's collection, we're debuting some new accessories, including keychains and sandals, the collectible key to EDC, license plate frames, and beach towels, perfect for the summer season.
Dude, license plate frames are really cool. I love driving down the highway and you get behind someone or someone passes you and they have the little EDC sticker on it. And I always want to kind of drive up next to them and kind of look at them.
Throw candy in their window.
Throw candy into their window.
Dude, I wore my EDC hat around this weekend and just going around. I couldn't believe how many. Are you going? Are you going? Are you going?
No,
I'll see you there. Oh my God.
Yeah. It'll be pretty awesome to see all the EDC license plate frames on the drive back home.
Yes.
With your fellow ravers on the road.
For sure. Give them a couple honks. Let them know you're there. Throw candy into the windows.
Candy in their window again.
So, John, I got to stop and ask. You disappointed me in Middlelands. There was no pirate shirt. There was no outfit. There was no nothing.
What false promise are you serving up now for EDC?
I think I'm going to go full romper this summer. It's going to be super hot, 80 degrees at night.
You mean A romp him.
Romp him, excuse me, correct. I don't know if you've seen online, but everyone's talking about these male rompers now, where guys now get the chance to don these sweet one pieces, and I think I'm gonna go
You mean to
full on
dress
romper.
like grown-up babies?
Do you see people walking around New York in these rompers, Monica?
Oh, rompers have been in full effect since last summer, for sure.
For
I mean,
guys,
obviously
too?
not during the winter, but now everyone's busting them out again.
Yeah.
So if I cut the legs off my onesie, is it a romper?
It's a romper. It's just gonna be a hot romper.
All right.
You want it to be cute.
But dudes in rompers, yeah, this is a newish thing, and I'm not sure if I support it. The jury's out. It
I'll
depends on
change your
who's
mind,
wearing it.
Monica. I'll change your mind.
Actually, for festivals in particular, is that when you go to the bathroom in a romper, it's on the floor. You do not want your clothes on the floor
That's
at
true.
a festival. So just think about
That's
that, y'all.
true.
Doesn't
Pro
sound
tip.
very sanitary.
But I think that's the issue, right? With women, they have to take it off completely, whereas man, you could just unzip. So it's totally unfair again.
We found a way to make it unfair
found a loophole.
again. Speaking of that, I think since this is the EDC Las Vegas episode, we always try to perform public services here. We get asked all the time, what's it like? What do you guys do in Vegas? How do you survive 3-4 days of dusk till dawn craziness? And I think each of us has little pro tips and cheat codes and how we kind of get through EDC. So I think we wanted to share that with y'all, and you can kind of learn from our knowledge, maybe take these with you, disseminate the advice to your crew.
I think you have to embrace the cat nap. Like, catch it where you can sleep it. Disco napping is real. You can catch like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and it will keep you going for another few hours.
And we've got some good chill zones too, where people can kind of take a load off and relax for a little bit. So that is possible.
Yeah, and even if you can't sleep, like, remember when you were little and your mom would just be like lying there with her eyes closed, and you'd be like, "Are you sleeping?" She's like, "No, I'm just resting my eyes." Anybody?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good tip from mom, right? Just even just
absolutely.
resting for a minute with your eyes closed can help you re-energize.
My mom was always checking her eyelids for light leaks. Speaking of naps, John, you disappeared a few times at EDC last year.
Disappeared one
Just
time.
your legs out from under a desk.
I found my nap spot at Cosmic Meadow during the Tycho sunrise set, and it was the best choice I made all weekend.
So I'm not convinced. You just took one nap
I
last
just
year?
took one nap that you know of.
My pro tip is find the gal who makes the fresh squeezed juice. Her name is Clara, and hit yourself up with like a fresh squeezed juice every 90 minutes or so, just to kind of keep those nutrients flowing. And of course, hand sanitizer.
That's a good one.
I mean, my basic, but it's a lifesaver, is comfortable shoes, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm an old fart with tired feet, but having good shoes, especially last year, I felt better last year than I did the previous 5 years because I screwed up and worried about what they look like more than function.
I don't know about you, but my cell phone tends to die usually when I need it most. And I can't remember any of my friends' phone numbers if my life depended on it. So a neat trick that I like to do is handwrite the phone numbers of people that I'm going with and kind of tape it to the back of my phone. So if I'm ever in a jam, I can use someone else's cell phone and give them a ring. It's even handy if you end up losing your phone and someone at the festival finds it, they can call your friends, and if you're lucky, it'll make it back to you.
That's a good
That's
hell
a
of a
solid
tip, dude.
man. Damn.
Where you been, dude?
Blow my mind.
We've just been gaggling like a bunch of hens and we haven't even talked about what's on the show.
What?
Tell us about it, Rich.
Yeah, we got a great show. I connected with Dave Ralph, who's our head of talent, who also in a former life was a very well-respected and well-toured DJ. And we talked about the creative sort of direction and curation that goes into planning a festival like EDC Vegas.
And later on, you're going to hear from a super cute couple, Ryan and Lindsay from San Jose, California. They're getting married at EDC this year.
And then we had a good conversation with Nicole Moudaber, the queen of the underground and total badass. And she talks about her Moodzone stage coming up at EDC Vegas and her history with Insomniac and some personal stuff. And it's a good conversation.
We're kicking off the show with Tony and Forrest from Team Bassrush. As many of you know, the bassPOD is making its final run at EDC Las Vegas this month. So it'll be the last time you get to see those fire-breathing robots live in action. Next year, we're debuting a brand new design for the bassPOD, so make sure to drop by and pay your respects by banging your head all night long.
Experience creators.
So we're here at the Insomniac HQ with two of the hardest headbangers you'll ever meet. We're here with Tony and Forrest from Team Bassrush. Can you introduce yourselves?
Hey, my name is Tony. I'm the brand manager at Bassrush.
I'm Forrest Hunt. I'm executive producer at Insomniac. I've been here 15 years and co-founded Bassrush with Pasquale.
So can you guys give me a quick history on Bassrush? What is it? When did it start? Where did it start? Forrest, I'm looking at you.
It actually started a little bit before me. Pasquale wasn't even doing drum and bass or anything. He was doing, I think, like old school techno, stuff like that. When I came on, we were adding drum and bass, and then that went on for a while. And then when Tony came in, he was doing the dubstep and the trap, everything else that's not drum and bass.
But still in the bass music realm.
Yeah, there's like bass house, there's glitch hop, there's a lot of the halftime stuff. There's a lot of stuff that falls under the bass music thing. So if it's bass, we try to cover it, try to expand as much as possible.
Today we're talking about the bassPOD. It's the third year at EDC Vegas in its current structure. What is the bassPOD? Like, can you walk me through the size of it all?
Sure. The bassPOD consists of 4 smaller robots that 2 on the stage left side, 2 on the stage right side in the house. Those are about 35 to 40 feet tall. Then there is 2 medium robots directly stage right and stage left. Those, I think, almost 50 feet tall. And then there's the mother robot, which is directly upstage center. I think it's upwards of 60 plus feet.
These things pack a lot of heat, literally a lot of heat, like 180-foot magma flame, 30 feet flame cannons. Whose genius idea was to have flame at 100-degree plus weather in Vegas?
I mean, I've always liked fire, and Heather Shaw, who designed it, there's antennas off each one of the robots, and it was just a perfect spot, to put flames. Last year we incorporated some water aspects because the headliners were getting a little hot.
Yeah.
So obviously not enough because some people said they didn't even see it. So we decided to add a 180-foot flame.
Right.
So, which really didn't help. It's out there in Vegas. We don't have any neighbors. We can do whatever we want. So it's the time to go big.
It absolutely is one of the biggest stages there, and it has one of the biggest draws. And I'm curious to know why each of you think bassPOD has such a dedicated following.
Well, I think that what's helped us is that we've been growing the brand in the past years. We've been focusing a lot on like local shows, and I feel like when you do a lot of shows like that, you cultivate a scene. There was a time when a lot of people felt that bass music wasn't doing well, so all the people that are really passionate about that sound stuck to it, and we started doing more shows, working on the festival lineups, and then we kind of grew the fan base organically. So I feel like a lot of headliners who go to the shows now, they only come for our stage because there's like a feeling, a vibe, an emotion, an energy that really other stages don't have. And I feel like bass music fans are really dedicated towards your sound versus maybe other music fans who like to play around with different stages.
Do you see Bassrush shaping the sound of bass music or following what's happening in the world?
I think we're the biggest advocate for bass music, so I feel like we book stuff that other people wouldn't traditionally book, whether it's drum and bass artists that other people don't book, whether it's dubstep artists. We try to book ahead of the curve, try to book sounds that people aren't booking. We're really about a lot of the upcoming producers, try to incorporate those with the big tier acts. So I definitely think that we're leading the charge, in the world when it comes to bass music, just because the amount of shows that we do, the level of festivals that we participate in, and I feel like that has helped grow the community. And as that scene and that community grows, we're growing along with it.
We've seen the Bassrush fan base grow increasingly. Online, on Twitter and Facebook, you see the hashtag Team Bassrush growing by the day. I'm curious to know whether you have any plans of doing a Bassrush only festival in the future.
That's funny that you asked. It's definitely something that's been on our minds. The past couple of years, we've been working on just growing the brand, establishing a larger fan base. Last year, we launched Project Z when we teamed up with BassCon. That event did 10,000 tickets on the first year. This year, we're aiming to do 15,000 tickets. That was pretty much our first attempt at doing a festival-style show, aside from the Insomniac festivals. In 2018, it looks like we're going to work
on a Bassrush festival where we can highlight the different sounds that we represent, and it'll be a strictly Bassrush show, multiple stages. So it's definitely something to come in 2018.
So in the 3 years that we had the bassPOD structure in Vegas, are there any highlights that stand out to each of you?
The obvious highlight for me would be last year when the small stage left pod caught on fire.
Yeah. So were you there when that happened?
I was walking behind the stage. I don't know with who, but I saw it catch fire, and then I ran through the gate, then through the gates underneath the robot to turn off the fuel that goes to the flame system that broke, and then ran back out.
By that time, it was already burning, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they put it out in less than 10 minutes, and then, I mean, that's the most memorable thing, anything at the festival, I would think.
I think so. I mean, obviously, everyone got out safe.
Sure.
No one was hurt. There was a slight sense of danger, and obviously...
But that's expected at the bassPOD.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely.
When you have a 180-foot... It's funny because we had a 180-foot flame, but that's not the thing that caused the fire. It's this little 30-foot flame.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
Tony, what's one of your favorite memories from the bassPOD?
Probably my most memorable moment of EDC last year was day 2. The closing set of the bassPOD, we had Epic, Back-to-Back Must Die. I've known these guys for a long time, and it's been dope to see them come up. It's a closing set. A lot of artists don't want to play that set, but these guys took the slot and they crushed it. There was about 20,000 people there. Sun was coming up and it was just going off. It was a really great moment.
It must be amazing for you to see a set like that where you're on day 2, coming close to the end of the night, and yet the bassPOD is still packed with people, comparable to like one of our other main stages.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Also, a lot of people have been raving since 7 p.m. So a lot of people are tired, but everybody brought the energy to the bassPOD. It was insane. The vibes were high, and it was a really great feeling. And it's also really great to see these upcoming producers be able to draw an audience as pretty much as big as some of the other stages. It goes to show that the kids recognize talent. So it doesn't matter if it's an A-tier artist or C-tier artist, as long as they're putting out great music, they have a good following, they can definitely deliver big sets.
Tony, you must work really closely with a lot of the artists we book via Bassrush. I'm sure you consider a few of them friends even. What's the relationship like between Bassrush and the artists that we book?
Yeah, there's definitely a great relationship. I mean, for me, some of the artists that I've booked, I was just a fan of before meeting them. So I definitely, once I had the opportunity to book them, I took that chance. And then, once they come to the show, we meet. And after they play for us for a few shows, we started developing a relationship with a lot of these artists. We started hanging out outside the shows. They're just ravers that turn into artists, and they just want to play shows, and they just want to play out no matter where it is, whether it's an after party, pre-party. They're just down to show love.
That's right. I saw 12 Planet even hanging around the Middleland sound camps last month and just throwing down set after set, right?
John's infamous for that. I mean, he was like probably one Middlelands. He was just playing the pre-parties, after parties. He was going to the sound camps that the headliners were doing, playing out there. That's something that's really dope about bass artists, is that they really connect with the fans really well, and they just want to have a good time.
Since I got into the Bassrush family, booking all the drum and bass DJs and just knowing them over the last 15 years, if you look, this is my opinion, if you look at DJs that play other stages, you don't see the DJs hanging out afterwards and having a beer, staying on the stage and watching their friends DJ. Drum and bass especially, I'll go on a vacation, and I'll meet up with one of the guys, it's like it's weird. It's not like they don't think they're special, they're just
down to earth.
Yeah, they're down to earth, and I don't think I've ever been to the main stage and seen two guys playing, one in front of the other, hang out and watch the other guy, or I don't know. It's like a family. It's it's like people I've known them since high school.
Yeah, you see it on the stage too. A lot of B2B
right.
performances that you don't really get in any other stages in Vegas.
That's especially in drum and bass. And the reason that started up again is because when I was younger, I would always be I would see these flyers from Europe and the UK and London. I'm like, man, they're doing Nicky Black Market back to back, whatever, Stevie Hyper D, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Right.
I was just like, let's just start doing it. And then now you see the other stages kind of ripping off our ideas, which aren't our ideas to begin with, but
right. But at Insomniac events, Bassrush is definitely the B2B.
Oh yeah,
B2B brand.
Because it started back, this drum and bass, people were born with it in their culture in the UK, Like it's on the radio stations, on your car, it's pirate radio stations, it's everywhere. Drum and bass is on TV, so it's like second nature to them. I wish it was like that here. Some people don't understand why it's not like that here. I'm like, they've been doing it for 10 more years, 15 more years, But anything I can do to make it more like that, I'm just like, let's try it out.
And we definitely build a relationship with all those artists. Specifically, it helps us too when we're booking shows because they we only want to play for Bassrush. It adds to the whole value of not only do we put on dope events, but we also have a very personal relationship with the artist. So it's it all just kind of fits together in the end.
And there's some artists that will play Bassrush and will break them, right? They might be too big for the stage and they'll go play another stage at one of our festivals, but they always come back because the vibe at the bassPOD is it's not like at any other stage, So it's nice to see. I mean, there are those artists that don't come back because they're just too big, but there are those that, go try it. And they're like, yeah, there might have been more people, but the vibe was definitely not even close to how it was at bassPOD.
Are there any artists that you can think of who were essentially broke on the Bassrush stage?
Slander played on the Bassrush stage first. Nightmare.
Dylan Francis played on there. Flostradamus played at the bassPOD in Vegas.
And then there's also artists that have just also grown. There's people who Excision, who started, he was playing Bassrush from the beginning and he's grown and he's become a massive artist. The list goes on and on. Flux, for example, last year he played Circuit Grounds, and this year he's they're asking to play bassPOD, which is a smaller footprint, but it feels better being where all the fans of that sound are at,
Since you're so involved in the talent department with regards to Bassrush, what do you see happening in the next 5 years in the bass music world?
Well, I definitely feel bass music's here to stay. I mean, it's been proven in the past. There's been times when the media or naysayers have doubted bass music, and at that time everyone just pulled together and started crushing it. I think what's dope about bass music is that there's so many subgenres and different sounds, and there's still people pioneering new bass sounds. So also the audience is a very dedicated crowd. They're people that want to experience that type of emotion and feeling and vibe at a show. There's not too many other genres in dance music that kind of give that energy. So yeah, I definitely just see the events growing, the community growing, and the production just getting better. I mean, there's a bunch of new sounds coming out, a lot of the underground bass guys that we're going to start booking, so keep an eye out for that.
We're sending off the bassPOD this month at EDC Las Vegas. Are there any surprises you can drop on our headliners?
There are some surprises. I don't really want to tell you guys. There's definitely more water, cool you guys down.
Right.
But at the same time, there might be more fire. So
Right.
There's a couple different things. It is the last year. We're going to send it off in proper fashion. So yeah, you have to come check it out.
It's been a good run for the bassPOD at EDC Vegas. It's seen some of the biggest crowds at any Vegas ever. Are you going to miss it?
I will miss it, but 3 years is a good run. I think it's time, to show the headliners something new. We actually have designs already going around. Yeah, keep it fresh, kind of like a version 2.0, but I can't really tell you more than that.
Right.
But, nobody wants to see the same thing year after year after year. I mean, these things aren't cheap. To make these things for 1 year, it's really difficult. So that's another reason.
It's exciting because the kinetic field always gets a new facelift every year. So now to see the bassPOD get a new look in 2018 must be exciting for our headliners.
It's good. It's exciting for everyone.
And for you.
Especially me. But there might be some other little versions of the existing bassPOD that you might see at a smaller festival or maybe Bassrush only festival. So it might make an appearance here and there. So it's not gone forever, but
Let's say to be continued.
Yeah, exactly.
Tony, you must have been super busy with this lineup this year, so can you tell us who we have?
Yeah, I mean,
some of your highlights.
It was definitely a collective effort. We spent a long time working on this lineup. Something we definitely try to focus on was, there's a lot of big major acts that play for us every year. So this year we tried to, the big goal was not to have any repeats. So there's a lot of people that you may not see that play for us traditionally, but we have a lot of our boys playing the show this year. We have Andy C, we have Datsik, we have Borgor, Zomboy, Black Sun Empire back-to-back The Upbeats, Schism back-to-back Trampa, Calyx and TV back-to-back Russian Optical. Oh yeah, and of course, can't forget our Bassrush residents, Fury, Fallen, Hazen, Night Stalker, Reed Speed, and Susley.
And Dino.
And MC Dino.
MC Dino killing it.
MC Dino, which is, that's a given. He's always, that's our family, so he's always going to be there.
The best performance I ever saw of MC Dino was at the Insomniac Christmas party in 2015, 2016.
Oh yeah, great time.
Destroyed it.
Great time.
And before Vegas goes down, we have 2 big events coming up.
Yeah, we always have, we like to call our EDC Vegas pre-party. We have a pool party in the day that is, Borgor, Valentino Khan, Dimension, Ed Russian Optical, Hero Bus, Dirty Audio. That's at the Hard Rock Rehab Pool. And then at night, we do an infamous massive party at the Joint, which is Andy C, Datzig, Zomboy, Ed Russian Optical, Kaiwachi, Riot, Flux Pavilion, super stacked. These shows sell out every year, so we're really excited about them.
When is it?
This is on June 15th, Thursday, the day before EDC.
So literally right before EDC.
Right before EDC.
Get your head banging on one day early.
We're done at 4 a.m., get a couple hours of rest, then head out to the Speedway.
Yeah. To do it all over again. For 3 more days.
This is Wide Awake Stories.
I've definitely been to EDC Vegas and seen fans just front roll the entire day into the morning.
Yeah, bassPOD has that sort of ride or die feel with the fans.
Absolutely.
I've seen people make their own bassPOD shirts, In Bass We Trust. Like, that stage has its own sort of cult following for
it's
sure.
Dedicated for sure. And it's at all of our festivals too. Whenever Bassrush makes an appearance at any of the shows, the bass heads show up in droves. Excited to hear about this new Bassrush festival though for next year.
Yeah, he did tease at that a little bit, right?
Exclusive.
Although I wish he would have busted out a couple of the secrets things they have planned this year.
That's why they're secrets, dude. You got to show up.
I tried to get secrets out of Dave Ralph, who's our next interviewee. Dave Ralph heads up talent, and man, I tried to get that guy to spill the beans on what he calls pop-outs that are going to be happening at EDC Las Vegas this year.
I did the same thing in an email, and he just wrote back, "Sorry, can't do that."
Man, I thought he was part of the team. I thought we were on the inside. Yeah, there's even secrets that we're not privy to, guys. So we tried our best.
Maybe you should try plying your interviewees with alcohol next time.
You'll get all the secrets.
Here's a great interview with Dave talking about the curation for EDC Las Vegas 2017.
Experience creators.
My name is Dave Ralph. I am an Insomniac, and I am head of talent. How about that?
What does head of talent mean at Insomniac?
It means I have a very stressful job. No, what it means, but it basically means is that I do the overarching strategies for our buying of talent in general. I also am very focused on all our international stuff, all our international festivals, so EDC Mexico, Japan, the UK when we were doing that, and everything else that falls under international comes to me. And then we have a whole team of people that do the various domestic stuff. So, it's just a case, being head of talent is more of a case of overarching strategy than anything else, and making sure that everyone's doing their job.
I want to take a step back a little bit from what we do here at Insomniac and just talk more broadly about the festival experience in general. You have, not only as head of talent working with our festivals, but you're a DJ as well, very famous DJ.
Was a DJ.
You've played Love Parade in Berlin. You closed out Woodstock 99. So you know a little bit about the magic of festivals. Talk to me a little bit about why the festival experience isn't just so popular these days, but why it's something that needs to be really protected by people like us and other promoters to really make that experience something that's a rite of passage for people and not just a throwaway Johnny-come-lately endeavor.
Well, I think that's a really interesting question, or several questions, but I think that, in terms of why a festival is so popular right now, when you look at a young person these days, they're just bombarded with all this, eye candy, left, right, and center, whether it be social media or TV or whatever it is, YouTube, whatever it is. And I think that a festival really kind of like personifies that. So when you walk into an Insomniac festival, for instance, it's just an absolute overload of light and sound and experience. And I think that young people these days they need that stimulation. It's gone are the days of the long 6-hour sets of DJs, where everyone kind of like got into the dance floor and that was it. You found your spot on the dance floor, you'd leave it to go to the bathroom, you'd leave it to go to the bar or whatever, and that was it. You'd be back and there'd be that community around you. Those days have really gone. Now it's more, there's still a community for sure, but from my perspective, it's a very different kind of community. There's certainly the loves there, which is awesome to see, but they're driven more by the experience around them, whether that's fireworks going off, whether that's a scenic stage, whether that's a DJ jumping up on the turntables and telling everyone to jump or whatever it is. That's what they want. To your other part of that question, as custodians, if you like, of festivals, I do feel there's a massive responsibility on people like you and me and Pasquale and everyone else that works at Insomniac to make sure that we are always delivering, number one, safe environments. I think that's hugely important. We all know just how much that means to every one of us. And number two, the most incredible experience that we can possibly muster up from our twisted imaginations, right? I think that the moment that we don't care is the moment that it all goes away.
As you said before, the international expansion of not just EDC, but we had our first Beyond Mexico not too long ago. How do you see this movement of dance music in general really permeating internationally compared to what you've seen before many years ago as a touring DJ?
Well, I think I would use Mexico as a really clear example. Right, so we've done 4 EDC Mexicos now. And year one, I don't think anyone knew what to expect. The local people turned up and were very local people. They turned up in their jeans and their t-shirts, and we didn't really see much of the Insomniac culture that we know and love from somewhere like Las Vegas. What's fantastic is to see that change over time. And this year, being our 4th year, it was incredible to see the totems, the day glow, the outrageous outfits, the way that people were just were coming to the festival with love in their hearts. And I'm not being sycophantic when I say this. You could really feel the love there. It was just incredible, and that wasn't the case in year one. So what I love to see is the way that we take our culture as our rave culture and we introduce it to these markets that are already interested and excited about dance music, but really have no clue about what rave culture is because it's never really been there. England and America were really the epicenters of rave. To some degree, maybe Holland at some point when the Gabba scene was really active, but the rest of the world didn't really experience that. Japan was like super interesting because there's a nation that's just kind of like needs its thirst quenching. It's like they came in and they just ate it up. So I'm really confident that year 2 is just going to be a monumental embrace of our culture.
We talk a lot internally about our strategies for different shows. What is the strategy for EDC Las Vegas this year?
Putting the show together is always a massive challenge, right? Because we have to be all things to all people. And the old saying, you can please some of the people some of the time, you can't please them all the time. So we try to please all the people. We really, really do. We do our very, very best. So when we're curating these lineups, what's important to us is where's the shift been musically over the last year? What's happening now? We at one time I think we were really guilty. Our lineups looked very similar from show to show. It would be DJ X, Y, and Z, and then there would be DJ Z, Y, and X. They'd just be different order, but same DJs. So we try to move away from that a lot, and kind of make each show exciting when people look at it and go, oh my God, I want to see that. So this year we've introduced a lot of new people, and we've said we've put a few people on hold too. People that you would normally expect to see are not going to play this year, and that's all very deliberate because we need to make room for some new blood. So people like Rufus de Sol and Lewis the Child, and Porter Robinson to some extent. Major Lazer is going to be on there this year, all on that Cosmic Meadow. That Cosmic Meadow is definitely our vehicle to push music forward. It's where you're going to see the newer artists. Kinetic Field, Kygo's going to play a Kinetic Field. He's never played at EDC before. That's going to be on Saturday night. That's going to be really cool. I think we were worried about the tempo, right? But when we really looked at it, it's not the tempo, it's the intensity, right? It's like that, and meaningful music. So he's had a lot of hits. People are really interested to see him. Seeing Marshmello for the first time on Kinetic Field is going to be a hell of an experience. That's an act that's really buzzing. And then there's new art cars this year. I think we're doing the Parliament art car, and there's going to be an awful lot of crews on those art cars. So I think Desert Hearts and Brownies and Lemonade, and stuff like that. So this year we're turning 21, and I feel that we're kind of growing up a little bit with our music. We're definitely keeping one foot firmly in our roots, but we're also we've also got our toes in a different kind of pool of talent, and I think that we have to do that because we need to keep that lineup interesting and moving forward. But there's also going to be some surprises. There'll be
spill it, Dave.
I can't. I really can't. That wouldn't be a surprise, Rich. But there's definitely going to be a few really cool surprises. You'll see some let's call them pop-outs, not pop-ins, but pop-outs. Because people will pop out, and I think that whilst I get really excited about that, I don't want that to drive our festival. But it's nice to see it now and again.
You're really in this cool position of not only having a very key position behind the scenes, but Google Dave Ralph, everyone listening, and you'll see where this man has been before. So you've been on both sides of the turntables. Give us your favorite, one of your most amazing stories from behind the scenes.
I DJ'd a long time. I DJ'd for 30 years. I was lucky to play many places. Some good, some bad, some in the middle. Don't ever let anyone tell you that DJing's all good, because it's not all good. And I could tell you stories for hours, but I think that the closing out Woodstock was probably the biggest and most memorable moment for me. Driving from New York up to the Woodstock site, and I think the Grateful Dead played. I think that year there was the Dead, and then they did this experiment in this. Basically, it was a warehouse, I guess. It was probably a hangar, held 80,000 people, and I think at 1999, it was just when dance music was really kind of very prolific. It was the Twilo days. It was, it was all that, and New York in general just had this kind of thirst for dance music. And there was only 2 DJs that played that day, and it was me and Fatboy Slim. And they opened the whole area for Fatboy Slim, and people just started flooding in. It was crazy to see. So he played for a couple of hours, and then I took over. And I don't think I've ever been so nervous in my entire life. It's like seeing 75,000 people there, and what I know now to be very powerful agents on the planet were all there, and at the time I had no idea who these people were, and the levity kind of suddenly hit me when I walked up to the turntables and I looked out, and there was very minimal lighting. There wasn't much going on, but everyone had lighters up. Cell phones really didn't take pictures then, not very well anyway. And just looking out onto the sea of people, and my ass just dropped. I was like, holy sh! And I stood there and kind of I had a stage fright moment. And there was a guy called Steve Lau who'd signed me to Kinetic Records a year or so earlier than that. And he came up and he was like, come on, you can do this. It's going to be fine. And then there was another guy called Matty Silver. He was like one of the biggest promoters in New York at that time. He did everyone, you know. And he was like, come on, Ralphie, come on. And I played my first record, and as soon as the beat hit, the place just went into like, you know, this massive like football kind of like, you know, soccer kind of just this, and that was it. I was on, and you know, 20 minutes later, I'm standing up on the turntables, something I'd never done before, and just feeling that energy. And I'd asked one of my friends, a guy called Grant Fleming, to come with me and take pictures, you know, because I wanted to document it. I knew it was a moment. I didn't realize it was going to be like that. And I came off the stage, you know, and everyone's like, you know, that was great. Where's the after party, right? Because you've got like all this energy, you know. Yeah. It's like a wound spring, you know. You want to go and let loose, right? And then I remember someone coming to me and said, "We got a problem." What's the problem? Grant. And just right then, a state trooper walked over, and he goes, "Do you know this guy?" And he pointed. By the way, it's late now, you know, so it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Do you know this guy? And he points up to a conning tower, you know, like this, like it's about 150 feet in the air, and there's my photographer, like leaning off the top of it, going, "Way!" So it took us like 20 minutes to talk him down, and then he got arrested. Like,
well, the better him than you, though.
Better him than me. So, you know, there's a couple of moments for you.
Wide Awake Stories, broadcasting from the Insomniac HQ.
Man, Woodstock 99. I mean, I remember watching Woodstock 99 on pay-per-view, and I think I used like 6 or 7 VHS tapes to record the whole thing because I didn't want to like miss any of it. I wanted to have it for forever. Yeah, I mean, I think he said there were 70-something thousand people. I mean, think of that. For 99 for dance music at a major festival, that's pretty comparable to what you see at Kinetic Field.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would have, my ass would have dropped as well.
Whatever that means.
I think that's a British thing, maybe.
And for those of you who can't make it to EDC, we're live streaming the whole thing with our partners Red Bull TV, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure to tune in, comment, share, host your own viewing party.
Yes.
And join in on the fun.
It's like the Ravers Super Bowl. You guys make sure to stay in touch with us too. Now, up till the festival, during the festival, you can find us on Twitter at insomniac.com. You can find us on Facebook at insomniac.com. # Wide Awake Stories.
That Rave hotline is still going strong.
You can call the Rave hotline, speak to us directly, leave a message. That number is 310-818-9406.
So yeah, the hotline's been ringing off the hook. We've been getting lots of messages. We've been getting lots of stories, actually, some really good ones. So let's check out a couple of those right now.
Headliner highlights.
I've got a little story. My godfather and I lost touch, and one day he just messaged me about house music, that we used to connect through that. And in that message, he invited me to dinner, and when we went to dinner, he surprised me with my first Rave ticket, which was to EDC Las Vegas, and we went together, and we've been connected ever since, and we're closer, and all thanks to EDC Insomniac. So thanks, Pascal, for reconnecting us and giving us really great lifelong memories.
Hello there. Who is this? I'm just laying on my couch in a purple thong, no bra on. You bad boys hit me back up. I'll see you later.
Yo, Wide Awake Stories. This is Kevin calling. I just wanted to talk about Bassrush real quick. Bassrush is blowing up. I went to Escape. I couldn't get into the Bassrush stage. It was gnarly. So glad that Bassrush was hosted outside for Beyond Wonderland. I just want to say a big shout out to all the stage production, all the people behind the scenes that make this all come to life, and everybody just having a good time. And I just want to say shouts out to Bassrush for getting so big. I cannot wait for EDC the last year that the freaking bassPOD rocket blower fire breathing crazy stage is going to be the last time. So shouts out to you guys. I love you guys. Listen to every podcast. Shouts out to Bassrush, Insomniac headquarters, Wide Awake Stories, 2017, y'all, let's get it.
Hi, Wide Awake Stories. My name is Jess. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I've been listening to you guys' show since you started, and it's so awesome. Every time I'm either laughing or crying or just feeling inspired and feeling more motivated to be more pure, or like have more spirituality and love in my life, it makes me excited to go into my car and listen to a podcast on my way to work or something. My story is about me and my boyfriend. So we met because of dance music, and since then, every milestone of our relationship has happened to happen at places where dance music is involved. That's where he asked me to be his girlfriend. That's where we had our first kiss, our first dance. That's where he told me he loved me. Every major milestone has been at a festival or a concert that involves dance music. And so I couldn't be happier and more thankful for this, and Half Dollar Color and Insomniac have done such an amazing job at making these experiences so special. EDC LV, we're going together this year, and we're super excited to bring our friend groups together. And so I just wanted to share that story and thank you guys. And Rich, I wanted to tell you your son is more than welcome to join our Rave squad. I've been going to EDC since 2010 when it was in LA. So, and that was before you had to be 18, I think. So I'm 24. So all are welcome here. I'd love to have him join our squad, and I just wanted to share my story. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, how's it going, Insomniac team? My name is Crystal. I'm a 27-year-old headliner living in Los Angeles, California. I've been to EDC the past 6 years in a row, so I have a whole bunch of different stories. I like to call this one How to Be a Porter Potty Hero. So this one is mainly for the ladies. A couple years ago at EDC, I was standing in line for the bathroom, and this poor girl comes out in front of me. And unfortunately, although we like to think we know our bodies, our periods can come at the worst possible moment. She was so devastated, and unfortunately, I couldn't help her out with any feminine products. She was asking around, and finally, one girl had something and helped her out. We take a long time. We take months or weeks getting ready for our outfits, our hair, our makeup, and for Mother Nature to come and pop up out of nowhere and ruin our day is just the worst. So now, every time I go to a festival, whether it be my time of the month or not, I be sure to pack a few extra amenities, just in case I could be a porta potty hero, just like I seen a few years ago at EDC. A few other essentials you should always have in your bag is wet wipes, chapstick, hand sanitizer, and always just a little bit of extra toilet paper. On that note, I just want to give a huge shout out to the people who go to the festivals and the EDC and clean up the porta potties every night. You guys are the true MVPs. It's not an easy job. No one wants to do it. But if it wasn't for you guys, we would be up in and nobody wants that. So thank you so much to all the cleaning crews, all the porta potty people, and all of the people out there who could be porta potty heroes. All right, guys, peace, love, and keep it positive.
You're listening to Wide Awake Stories.
So that's rad that Crystal not only now is always on the lookout to help her fellow female headliners, but also that she gives a shout out to the people who take care of the porta potties, which if you're not a festival goer, like, you can't understand. But if you are, you know how that can be a make or break situation in your life sometimes. So thank you for thanking the porta potty heroes who take care of that, to keep everybody taken care of.
Bless up, sanitation squad.
It's a dirty job.
Someone's got to do it for sure.
So props to Dave Ralph and the entire talent team for keeping EDC Vegas really well-rounded in terms of bookings. Virtually every genre of dance music is represented at the festival, but personally, I'm going to be posted up throughout the entire weekend at neonGARDEN. Factory 93 is hosting the stage for the first time for the entire weekend, and they have some really big hitters. If house and techno is your thing, then you're really going to love who's coming through. We have Adam Bayer's Drum Code, Jamie Jones' Paradise, and obviously, as we mentioned before, Nicole Moudaber is bringing her Moodzone for the first time to EDC Vegas.
Yeah, her and I caught up over Skype. She's constantly traveling. She's coming off an already crazy year. She took a couple months off. I think she went to Bali just to kind of unplug and recharge. And now she's back full force, ready to kind of jump into this tour that she's got going on. And a big part of that is her appearance at EDC Las Vegas.
I'm Nicole Moudaber, and I'm a music producer and a DJ. The last 6 months have been crazy, and I actually took two months off early on this year because I haven't stopped touring for 2 years. So I took this break. But it seems like I haven't done anything because I'm back on the road and I'm totally grinding again, and I'm not sleeping, and it's quite intense, especially this US tour coming up now and the summer shaping up this year. It's just crazy, but I'm actually really enjoying myself a lot more this year. I don't know, something's changed, and I'm just enjoying it, even with all the crazy schedule. I'm just loving it.
Why do you think that is? What do you think maybe changed? Because I envision that you have a busy year every year. What was it, taking the time off that helped reset everything, or was it just maybe just a change in general?
Totally. It's definitely the mindset. And taking this time off has helped me to center myself again and regroup. And look at things in a different perspective, obviously. I have to say, it's been 5 years since my dad passed away. And during that time, I didn't have enough time to mourn his death as such. So I got myself really busy and I drowned in work, and you know, this can't be good for anybody not to deal with loss. It kind of affected me a lot, I have to say. Something happened late last year, and I kind of snapped out of this dark zone I was in, and this holiday definitely in Bali and Thailand got me back to where I should be, a bit more balanced, a bit more centered and rooted, and so I'm just enjoying what I'm doing again, in such a way that it's much lighter, definitely, for me this year, which is a great thing, obviously.
It's interesting sometimes with the way that mindsets change, even though a workload may stay the same or get bigger, the mindset can make things feel even lighter if there's more work. Absolutely. It was heavy, and I could feel it. You know, it's quite tough to balance all this, the personal and the public. So it's been very, very tough. How do you think it manifested itself in your production over the last few years? As an artist, I think, and it's tough to say this, but when you're in pain, you tend to excel more as an artist because emotions are amplified and the wounds hurt, and so you tend to project that musically. When you're happy and everything is great, I don't think it translates very well. It's really weird. It's a bittersweet situation, I have to say, with making music and your state of mind, and when you want to express yourself. It always translates better when you're in pain. Well, I can only speak for myself. I mean, we're about to get into the crazy part of the summer touring right now, and I think a lot of that kicks off at EDC. I'm really, really excited for Vegas this year because of what we're doing with Factory 93 and what you're bringing with Moodzone. Talk to me about your connection with neonGARDEN and now with Factory 93 bringing that sort of aesthetic into it.
I have to say, my most intense experience with the neonGARDEN was last year, my first Moodzone in New York with EDC, and it was something else. It was a massive festival. Yet again, it was very intimate somehow for me, and I connected a lot with the tens of thousands of people in that tent, and it felt like I was doing an intimate club somehow. I can't put it down if it was the way the stage was constructed or was it the actual people giving me this energy, but it was very intense, I have to say, and very much like a family affair in New York. And to have this again in Vegas, which Vegas is pretty much known for their commercial side, a little bit of all that EDM, and for us to come in and do this in Vegas is gonna change the course of what they've been doing for many years, and we're gonna come and take it back, which we should, because this is the real music. This is not just noise and head banging aimlessly. I don't mean to be rude to anybody with this kind of music, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not music. And for us to be doing this in Vegas and lay it down properly with all the credible artists that we have is going to be monumental for sure.
Tell me a little bit about how you went about bringing together and curating the artists who are going to be playing that night, because the night is only so long and you can only bring in, so many friends to the party, if you will. Tell me a little bit about how you curated this particular night.
It's a joint effort between me and the team, obviously, my team and the Insomniac team. Inviting all these artists is we planned it last year, basically, and these artists are very good friends of mine, and I respect them. They're all amazing producers and amazing DJs, and just to have them and showcase and celebrate music on that day is incredible. There's not enough time for everybody, but we managed to put as many as we could, and just to celebrate this day, all of us together.
I think one of my favorite things about when, let's say, Moodzone or Drum Code is going to be there one night, I think what I like the most about when these sort of collectives get together to play one stage is because the atmosphere behind the decks kind of is what it used to be years and years ago, because now I think you have a lot of people, they show up maybe a little bit before their set, they go on, then they come off, then they go away. But what was so great about being in the crowd was looking behind the decks and seeing people give hugs, hang out during one person's set, talk to them. Then maybe they wouldn't even come on for another hour or two, but they wanted to be there to kind of soak up the energy.
And this is the beauty of what we do in our culture. It's all about love and tolerance and positive energy, and it comes out naturally without even trying. So this is what we aim to give to people, and memorable experiences.
You're very connected with your fans. I love it when there's people from Insomniac who will Snapchat one of your performances and they'll always say, "The Queen is here, the Queen is here." What are some of the most powerful sentiments you've received from fans who've contacted you on social media, who reached out to you, who talk about how your music has, and really maybe your career has impacted them?
It has, and this gives me somehow a responsibility to be kind of like a role model as such. I don't want to say this, but it seems that I'm turning to be this. And I get loads of messages from fans about my music changing their lives in a better way. I give them hope. I give them a different perspective of how you see life in general. And it's very touching to see this. I get messages with the most that really affected me were fans who were a bit sick or ill or in hospitals, dealing with cancer and other kinds of health problems, and telling me how much my music helped them. And so these things are really, really touching. And it makes me want to do more, actually, because this is very powerful. And sorry, I'm a little bit emotional right now because I get a lot of messages like this, and it's just amazing for me to be able to help people like that with a simple thing that I'm doing, which is just playing music, really. But I guess it's touching them in a different way, which is incredible.
Well, and I think we all know that we're living in an age right now where anyone who can do something that involves social responsibility, it's important, to ignite the social consciousness. And I think singer-songwriters have it maybe a little bit easier than most because they can use lyrics, and lyrics are a little bit more, it's easier for those to connect to people because they share thoughts and feelings. But for you, who's a music producer who communicates with electronics and beats and pulses and rhythms, how do you challenge yourself in 2017 with the world that we've got right now? How does your statement come through your music?
It depends. My message changes every time. The content is probably different, but at the end of the day, the story is still the same, which is really elevating and uplifting, and sometimes it can go through anger, melancholia, but then it changes into an uplifting journey at the end of the day. And this is the story that I normally tell. It changes every time. It's just a case of whether you can relate to it or not.
You're tuned in to Wide Awake Stories.
Man, so Nicole is such a powerful woman. She's so cool, and it's great that she can also just open up about, her father passing and writing music from a place of pain. And it really spoke to me too, talking about how her music helps people through dark times. Even though, as Rich, you point out, it's not your typical singer-songwriter. This is an Elliott Smith getting you through a breakup. But actually, some of my most, powerful music, my go-to music is often stuff without lyrics that just moves you even more deeply than language could ever go. So I totally get that.
Yeah, and I think she really takes that responsibility, very seriously. Even to use a word like role model, even if she was joking a little bit, I really think that it's good for people in our industry and who produce this kind of music to really maybe put that pressure or responsibility on themselves, because that's how we can kind of start making a difference, you know?
So basically, you're saying feels.
Feels all around.
Feels.
She got really, really real. It was a lot of feels at the end of that interview. So that stage is definitely going to be going off. Another stage is going to be going off that's a new addition to EDC at Quantum Valley.
Yep. Quantum Valley is the brand new stage. We're debuting this EDC. It's hosted by Dreamsay, our all-trance brand, all 3 days. And we've got literally every trance DJ you've ever wanted to see playing all subgenres of trance. 3 full nights of feels.
Dude, Drake tears for everyone.
3 full nights of feels, Drake tears, hugs, and kisses.
For all.
For all.
A lot of hard hands at Quantum Valley, man, for sure.
Trans family's coming strong.
And meanwhile, there's going to be a lot of heart hands at the EDC chapels where our new friends Ryan and Lindsay are getting married.
That's true.
Yes, when their big, massive wedding party.
And everyone's invited.
Ryan and Lindsay are a super rad couple from San Jose. They drove down to Los Angeles, visited me here at the Insomniac office, and shared their story about how they met. They're getting married at EDC this year. They're rolling deep with like 50 people, all their friends, their family, mom, dad. They rented a huge house, and it's going to be a pretty rad weekend for them. And their story is pretty touching. Here it is.
Headliner highlights.
Hello, Ryan and Lindsay. Thank you guys so much for making the trip down to Los Angeles. Welcome. Let's start at the beginning, and you share with us how you first met.
We first met at work, and from that started hanging out quite a bit outside of work, and we listened to some music while we were hanging out and struck up the conversation about our experience, me growing up in Miami and attending the Ultra Music Festival and some other things as well, and Lindsay attending Insomniac events. We just started talking and decided that maybe we should go to a rave together.
Yeah, so I told him that I'd been to Insomniac events quite a bit, but it was something different from Ultra, and it's something I wanted to share with him, and we really hit it off, and I wanted to share that with him and experience it alongside him. And so he offered to drive my friend and I down to Escape, and that was our first Insomniac event together.
What I love most about outside of the scene, other than the music itself, is truly the culture. We all kind of poke fun a little bit at peace, love, unity, respect, but the values are really what stand out. The connection that comes from letting all of the other drama fall away when you walk through those gates to being present and with the people you're next to, and you may not have ever met that person before, but you have that connection because you're there.
I really like the candy scene. I'm going to say that. I love making bracelets and crafting neat little things to meet people. And I have like maybe 30 of these bracelets on my left arm, which is the trade arm. And I think to myself, I'll meet this one person and they stand out to me, and I'll look at my arm and I'll say, that's the one that I'm going to give to them. And so I spend a lot of time making those, but I also really enjoy just trading, because then on my other arm is where I keep all the ones that I have received over the years. And they all have a memory. They all have a story behind them. And they remind me of the friends that I've made. And there are plenty of them. Actually, one of our friends, Philly, he made a really awesome necklace that matches each other. It's 2 hands. And when they come together, they make the little heart. And he just posted it up on Instagram today. And he's going to be giving it to us at EDC this year. And so I'm a crafty person. So I love trading candy, but also just meeting people and making friends.
Do you make totems as well?
Yes, actually. My friend and I, we were going to Nocturnal a few years ago, and we wanted to make something that was Alice in Wonderland theme. We were in Michael's, and I saw these little thin frames, and I said, dude, we could make something that looks like Alice's mirror if we sponge paint it. And then my friend had this idea of taking 2 feather boas, wrapping them together to make it look like the Cheshire Cat's tail at the bottom. And so we made this totem that says, we're all mad here, and it's meant to look like Alice's mirror. And we've been taking it to festivals since Nocturnal of 2014, and it's kind of now developed a personality of its own. It's been
I've
signed.
seen your totem around.
It's been signed by Dada Life. It's been signed by a couple of DJs, and people come up to us, always want to take pictures. I think the totem is more popular than my friends and I, as far as all the pictures that have been taken of us.
So tell me how the proposal came about.
The proposal was actually an elaborate scheme that I needed to keep out of Lindsay's sight, because she's very crafty in a double meaning of that word, and I knew that she could catch on relatively quickly. She invited me to go to Nocturnal Wonderland, which is her favorite festival, and to go with her best friend Brittany and her boyfriend Lalo to go down there and camp for 4 days and have a good time. And Well, after that, I got a little plan up my sleeve and
I
decided...
didn't know anything about this. And what was funny is my mom, for the first time, was excited for me to go to a rave. She had never really been excited for me to go to an event before. And all of a sudden she was like, did you get your outfits planned? Are you really excited? Did you request the time off of work? And I kind of got this weird feeling in my head that there was an ulterior motive, but I didn't really think much of it. And when he took me to Nocturnal, we were standing next to the bass stage. What was the name of the stage that year?
Oh, that was the Wolves Den that year.
Yeah, I think it was the Wolves Den that year.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked everybody to take a photo of us, and then everybody else backed away and started getting their phones out to take a picture of just him and I instead of the group. And I said, why is everybody getting their phones out?
And that's when I dropped down onto my knee and gave her the first and only candy I have ever made that said, marry me. And I put the ring on the wrong finger as she proceeded to cry. And
that's
we were
okay.
recognized.
That's okay because I still said yes, obviously. And we had such a great time that weekend. We made so many friends.
The reason I chose Nocturnal for the proposal was I knew how much the festival meant to Lindsay.
Nocturnal to me is very special because it has a different kind of vibe than EDC. EDC is very glamorous. EDC is very fun. It's very loud and it's big and it's huge. Nocturnal I felt was a little smaller and it was easier to meet people because you can go camping there and you can be with your friends the entire weekend and you meet a lot of people and you get to be with them that entire time. So the first time I went with my friend Brittany, we had a blast. It was just absolutely amazing and all the vibes were really chill, down to earth. I really liked just being able to go from the campground to the festival because there's things that you can do in the campground like the silent disco and the arts and crafts and the stargazing, but you can also go into the festival and experience like the trap stage and you can experience like the drum and bass and you can experience all those different stages and watch the artists. And so I felt like Nocturnal really gave me an entire weekend of things that I could do with people that I met and people that I really enjoyed spending my time with.
I see you have your Nocturnal necklace on that not many people have.
I'm really fortunate. I got to meet Pascal last year at Nocturnal 2016. I was in VIP and I saw him and I approached him and I said, hey, I just want to thank you for the festival. It gets better every year and I want to let you know that I'm getting married next year at EDC Vegas and my parents are coming and it wouldn't be possible without you. And I made you something. I made him a candy and it had a little turntable on it. And after giving it to him, he looked at it, he really liked it, and so he said, okay, well, I have something for you. And he gave me a necklace that had a little wolf on it, a little blue wolf, and he told me that he'd only given them to people that were actually working the festival. I was so stoked. I was so happy that he was willing to trade candy with me, because as I spoke of before, I love making candy, and so I got to trade with them, and I wear this necklace now, like, all the time, and it reminds me of all the great times that we've had at Nocturnal. It reminds me of Ryan proposing to me at Nocturnal back in 2015, and it just brings the good vibes.
It sounds like your mom is fully supportive of this and she's coming out, and your dad's coming too, is that correct?
Yeah, so my mom Michelle and my stepfather David are coming out. They're flying out from South Carolina. They're going to be coming into Vegas and they're going to be doing a little reception with us at the house that we rented, but they're going to be ultimately going with us on the shuttle to EDC, and we have VIP passes so that they get to experience all the cool things about all the different parts of the festival. I'm so excited to show them all the different stages, the culture, all of the headliners that come.
And the music. Lots and lots of music.
Yeah, see, I'm more about the experience and he's more about the music. Of course, the music is part of it, but I love seeing all the stages and the fireworks, the performers, the art, and he is a total trap head, which is kind of funny because I never used to like trap, but ever since I met Ryan, it's probably now my favorite genre of electronic music, but I do like house a lot as well.
So your parents are coming out and this is going to be their first experience of any kind of electronic music event?
This is their first experience with any type of electronic music. They're coming out and they're excited, and I'm really excited for them. It's a really big event for them. They have no idea what's in store for them to experience. I think it'll be good for them. Every year I show them pictures of when we go. I love taking photographs, and my mom actually now, every time I've gone for the past few years, says, where's the pictures? Where's the pictures? I want to see them. So they do have an idea of what to expect, but I think that EDC is the kind of thing that you'll never know what it's like until you really go. I went my first year in 2012 with my best friend Brittany. Her godfather helped us get out there, and we were really excited, and we came in, and I nearly cried because it was so overwhelming in the best way possible. It was a lot to take in, but I felt like every stage had its own vibe, and I really felt like it was like this city that you could go to, this place that you could be in for the entire weekend that was different than anywhere else in the world. I really liked it. I told myself, this is not the last time, and it hasn't been. 2012 through 2014, I went to EDC Vegas. 2015, EDC Puerto Rico. 2016, Vegas, and again this year, 2017, for Vegas again. I'm not too nervous about the wedding, only because it's happening in an environment that I love so much. It's happening in a place where everybody is going to be happy. There's going to be awesome vibes. There's going to be amazing things to experience. And so the nervousness that I think a lot of brides would feel, I don't have. And I think also it's because when you get married at EDC, it takes a lot of the stress out of the planning aspect of it, because you pay for the chapel, and that comes along with a photographer. It comes along with your marriage certificate, with the minister, it comes with the chapel. It's all kind of planned out for you so that you can really focus on the moment with, the person that you're connecting with, the person that you're, tying the knot with. And so I'm not nervous at all. I'm a little nervous that my parents are going to be there, because it's their first time experiencing something on this magnitude, this level. But that's pretty much the only thing. Yeah.
Well, I would say that I am definitely a little bit nervous because I'm a bit more of the logistical side of things, making sure that we make it to the house in Vegas and that we kind of coordinate with all of our friends to pick them up from the airport, getting them to the house, and then everybody to the shuttle and all of these other things that kind of go into it. But that's kind of me. I'm kind of like the rave dad in our group. So that's kind of my job, but that's the only nervousness I have. I mean, I honestly couldn't be happier to be marrying a woman like this. I am so very fortunate, and I can't wait to share that experience under the electric sky with her.
Nice. I'm very happy for the both of you, and it sounds like you're fully prepared for the weekend, which just made me realize that I never asked you about all the preparation for this big day of yours. Like your outfits, is there a cake? How about you start when you first realized that EDC was the place that you were going to make all this happen?
So getting ready and finding out, is this where I want to get married, was, it kind of came out of nowhere. We were on the shuttle back from last year's EDC on Saturday, and we were kind of tired, and our friend Matt was sitting behind us, and he was saying, you guys like all this stuff so much, they have a chapel there. Why don't you just get married there next year? And I was half asleep and my eyes popped open, and I said, why not?
And I knew I was in trouble at that moment.
So it was Father's Day. We called my stepdad, and I asked him about going to the rave, and he said, I'm totally down. We're happy that you're gonna, be getting married. Finally, we've been waiting. And so then we started planning. In November, we got our tickets. Once we knew the dates, we got the house. Then we planned the outfits. The outfits are going to be Star Wars themed because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I have a Death Star on my shoulder, and I will blow your planet up. But I'm going as Princess Leia, and he's going as Han Solo. So the outfits are taken care of, the shuttle passes, the tickets, the wedding cake, which has an EDC theme to it. There's going to be an owl and fireworks, and there's going to be a little Princess Leia and Han Solo up on top. The reception that we've planned, which we're catering with Olive Garden, whoop whoop, my favorite. All of these things have been part of our lives for the past year. Everything that we've been planning has taken a lot of effort, and I couldn't have done it without my mom. I couldn't have done it without the help of my friends, and we're just really excited that it's all pretty much taken care of. We're down to 3 weeks. The only thing I need left to do is run another 60 miles before we go, which I've already ran 30 in the past 20 days, so I'm definitely getting in shape.
There is actually one more thing that we need, and that's actually our marriage license. And we'll be we need that. But we'll be getting to Vegas on the 14th and getting the marriage license the couple of days before the festival actually starts, so that we can legally be married in the state of Nevada. But other than that, everything is tied up nicely with a bow at this point. If there is one thing I would love for all of the EDC attendees to know, is that you have a personal invitation to our ceremony at 1:45 in the morning on June the 17th at the Chapel of Technology at Cosmic Meadow. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your friends' friends, bring the whole squad, roll deep. We want to see each and every one of you, and we want to celebrate under the electric sky with you.
And one thing I would also say, I'm a little bit of a photographer. If you guys take any pictures, just make sure you hashtag it with Lindsay and Ryan, EDC 17.
Well, there you go, Wide Awake listeners. Our crew will be out there watching these two get married, and we hope to see you out there as well.
Wide Awake Stories from Insomniac.
You know, since EDC has come to Vegas, we've legally married almost 300 couples.
Legally.
Legit married.
Yeah,
you know,
like
to say nothing of the festy bestie sort of casual rave ceremonies. Yeah, 300 couples have tied the knot in Vegas.
I love that how their whole story just kind of revolves around Insomniac too. They got engaged at Nocturnal Wonderland. The whole reason why they went out in the first place is because Lindsay was talking about how special Insomniac is, and she wanted him to experience that. So yeah, I love how it all came full circle. Engagement at Nocturnal, getting married at EDC, and
we want to help you find that special love too. So we're going to do this little public service for our headliners for EDC Las Vegas. We've gone on social media so many times after a show and seen all the missed connections. People seeing one another from afar. You know, you see someone in the crowd, but you don't get their name, you don't get their number. So what we're going to be doing at EDC Las Vegas is we're going to be keeping the Rave hotline all powered with juice all weekend long. And if you have a missed connection, call us at 310-818-9406 and leave the details of your missed connection. We're going to take those missed connections and we're going to post them on the Insomniac.com Facebook.
so forget about Craigslist or whatever else.
No sketchy. No sketchy Craigslist. We're going to vet all the kind of sketchy, you know, I saw you in the front row of bassPOD.
What is that voice?
That's the creepy, I don't know. It's the creepy,
like
lecherous bass head. So, I don't know.
Oh, no.
We just want to help you find love.
That's what we're here to do, make connections.
So call us on the Rave hotline, 310-818-9406. Leave your missed connection or hit us up on social, #EDCLV missed connections. And we will find you and we will link you up with the person who knows, could be your soulmate. Maybe you could be getting married at EDC Las Vegas 2018.
You get your own proposal at EDC
Damn.
Las Vegas 2018.
Tight.
Oh,
And
that
there
harp
it is.
sound.
I was wondering if we were going to get the harp this episode.
What you got for us, Sam?
On the music tip this month, we have a specially made mini mix from one of the hosts that are coming through to take over one of the art cars. We have a few dope collectives coming through, and it's really as mixed of a bag as you can possibly get. We have collectives from all across the board coming through: Side Tribe, Brownies and Lemonade, Trap Nation, Desert Hearts, Cats and Boots, and Monstercat, who have graciously put together a mix for us. Grant, who is a USC undergrad, he's kind of juggling his student life and the life of an artist, and he's been coming up big in the last year or so. So he's going to give us a taste of what's to come when Monstercat rolls through to EDC Vegas, and we're going to let him introduce that in a second.
Plus, we've got exclusive mixes and interviews from all the art car hosts at this year's EDC Las Vegas over at insomniac.com/artcars.
Thanks for listening. We will be back next month with our post-Vegas wrap-up. And if you're coming out to Vegas, look for us. We'll have the Wide Awake shirts. We'll have our Wide Awake mics. Tell us your story. Share that misconnection live and in person. And we will see you under the electric sky.
This is Wide Awake Stories.
Hey guys, it's Grant. I'm really excited to be playing the Calliope art car at EDC Vegas with the Monstercat team and a bunch of other artists. In anticipation to the takeover, I put together a small mix using a few of my favorite tracks from myself and the other artists on the lineup. I hope you enjoy it, and I can't wait to see you there.
Your lucid touch evaporates. I open up my eyes, wake up dreaming through the days and sleepless nights. wanna see the light. I just wanna see the light. I just wanna see the light. Just wanna see the light. I just wanna see the light. I just wanna see the light.
You can find me in traffic. Pull up, you can find me in traffic. Pull up, you can find me in traffic. Turn up the boombox.